Hey guys, my name is Danny James and here are some 5 essential music video effects that you need to know. Let's get into it. I'll start with a very simple flash transition on these two clips over here. Drag in an adjustment layer. I'll make sure it's 5 frames on either side. So hold shift left arrow key once to go left 5 frames, and the other side it's already in 5 frames. Go to your effects and look for levels, drag it in there. Go under effect controls, keyframe the RGB white input level. Since this is our end result, I will drag it at the end, and I will also create another keyframe manually, drag it in the beginning. Go at the middle of this cut and we will drop down this value up to around 80. We are still trying to retain the initial information from the video, that's why we are not going all the way up to 0, because it will now just have a white thing behind, which doesn't look good categorically. If I scroll through, I think it looks okay, but you can also spice it up a little bit. Go at the middle of this keyframe, click to expand this selection, and then click on the middle keyframe, find this small controller here for velocity, and drag your keyframe in the same way that I'm doing it. That way it will slowly build up and then flash at once. I want us to add a little bit of overlays to complement this. I got these overlays from Think Make Push. This is a very good channel that you can check out. He's been really consistent and has produced some handcrafted overlays that you can use on your videos. I got this one from his channel, which is actually really popular. Just find it and add it to your video. I like this part where it has these shapes in the middle. So I want to add these on top of the transition, and it also comes with its sound effect. After aligning it like this, I'll just change the blending mode to a screen or lighten, and now we have something really good on the transition. There's more to choose from. We have this one with the X at the middle. You can also add it and do the same thing. I can bring it to the top, and then I will disable the other one that we just added, change the blending mode, and you still get something equally as good. Next, we'll do some photo burst transition on this video, transitioning to the next one. One of the things that you'll need to take some screenshots from your videos, or in case you've been able to take photos on set, that will be good. The easiest way to take a screenshot will be finding this small export frame, and if you can't find it, you just go to this add button and find it here. Click on it. You can also enable it to import into your project, and there you'll have your photos for the video. I've already done that, and here are my screenshots. So I'll just set them up right before this transition. Choose about 5 of them, drag them into the clip. Make sure they are about 5 frames maximum, so that's 5 frames for each. I've already edited my preferences, and the way that you do this, go to your edit, click on preferences, go to timeline, and ensure your still image default duration is at 5 frames. That way it will be easy to do this. Then just arrange them like in a staircase, and then pick an order which you want them to appear with. So I want this to be my first one, replace it with that. This is good, so they're following each other like this. I will make sure that it extends up to the last photo like this, so do the same for the others. Then we're going to do a little bit of color correcting. Go to window, Lumetri color. Under Lumetri, find the vignette option, which is down at the end. Increase the amount like this, so we have these black edges. You can also increase the feathering or reduce it depending on your preferences. Tweak the midpoint a bit to your liking, and the roundness how you find it best. Without the vignette, with the vignette. One more thing, you can also find the midtones under the color wheels. Choose a color palette that you'd like to have on your photos. So I'll go for this greenish type of vibe. Close it. Then I will copy these parameters to the rest of the photos. And then go to your effects, add transform. Add it on the first one. From transform, start by disabling using composition shutter angle. Use your own shutter angle, which is 200 degrees or anywhere near that. Enable the keyframe for position. Drag it upwards so that it just falls from above. Go 2 frames later, right arrow key twice, drop it to the default value. So it will just fall down like this. Yeah, I'll do the same for the other images. Just copy the transform effect, go to the clips and then just paste the same effect, and it will come with the same keyframes. Once you've copied the same effect to the other images, go to the middle of the cut, go 2 frames earlier, then drag them up to here. Now they will fall down perfectly and transition into this next clip. And now we have this. Yeah, looks really good. Next, I'll be plugging my Sapphire presets, which you can also find on my website at dannyjames.co. There is also a demo version of the pack which you can use to try and test if you like the style and if it's also compatible with your PC. The only caveat is that you need to have Sapphire plugin installed to work with these. Once you get the presets, just open the folder. It consists of 24 presets which you can easily drag and drop and get different and versatile looks. If I do try to add a Sapphire glint with cross lights, the glint with the cross lights will give you something that looks like this. I will undo that. If I put the soft light instead, it will have a glow just around the shiny areas of the image, which looks good. I can undo that. You can also easily add a flicker to your video by adding the flicker which is fast, and it will actually flicker like that. I can undo that, probably add a normal flicker to the video. The normal flicker looks like this. I can undo that. I can show you the Sapphire rays with a pulse, which will kind of pulse through the brightest parts of the image like that, and then it will cool down and then pulse once again. It also includes some shake presets. So if I undo and put a Sapphire shake low key, this should obviously shake your video up and around like that. And the last one, you can also check out a slow shutter effect, and the slow shutter effect, which is bright, will look something like this. So feel free to check out these presets and hopefully you get to find full value in them. The fourth effect will be adding some wavy text effects that you'd typically see in drill music videos. So we'll be adding on this clip with Ditheng. I will start by right clicking on the clip and replace with an After Effects comp. In After Effects, you'll need to enable sound here so that you can hear what's happening. He says, I gotta stick to the plan and go out the way. Grab your text tool, type the first 2 words, which is I gotta, all in uppercase, definitely. Come back to your selection tool. Now we need to fine tune the character, change the font to something a bit more digital and futuristic. So I'll use designer font. Okay, change the fill to something orangish or reddish. Any of those will work. I prefer playing with a little bit of orange. Click here to enable stroke. Make sure your stroke is black, and then make sure it's fill over stroke. Then you can change this value depending on how you prefer. You can also change the spacing between the letters, which is called tracking, I'm sure. Once you're satisfied with your text, we need to go to our effects and look for a typewriter, which is a preset which is inbuilt inside of AE. Click down so that you can see the animator. Find the keyframes, bring the second keyframe closer to it so that it just animates in like that. Under advanced settings, you can choose whether it is based on characters or words, which is the typewriting effect. Once you have this established, hit P and then hold Alt while clicking on that stopwatch and add an expression wiggle, and I'll add 40 to 40, 4 to 40 I mean, and now the text should be just shaking around that area. Go to your position once again, click and add a stopwatch. Now we are adding keyframes for the position of this text. Make sure this text comes from somewhere on the screen. It could be up, could be just below, not necessarily out of the screen. Then make sure that goes at the beginning, then make these texts just jump in. It jumps in very well. Next, we're going to add some effects to this text. Start by adding a drop shadow. Increase the distance so that it's more pronounced, and then you can also change the angle of the drop shadow depending on your preferences. And this is just a small level of detail that makes a huge difference. Again, go to your effects and add a glow. I would prefer using Sapphire glow or any other glow that will give you the results that you prefer. I will tweak these settings a bit. Once you do something like this, you'll need to hit Ctrl Shift D and split that layer. and then we'll hit Ctrl D to duplicate this small selection a bit and squeeze it on the right side, and this is where we'll add the other texts once again. So I'll follow with the audio and know where to add the rest of the text. So it says stick to the plan. I will change the color for 1 or 2 words here just to make it a little bit more diverse, and then I will hit P, see the position keyframes. I'll delete the current keyframes for position and set my own. I want this text to come here, add a keyframe, and then I'll make them appear from somewhere down here. And playing this back, yeah, so I'll just add the rest of the text and then see you back in Premiere. Back in Premiere, this is what our final result would look like. Yeah, and for our last effect, we'll be doing a simple stabilize motion. I will duplicate these, then right click and replace with After Effects. Once you're here, just find your trackers tab. If you can't find them, go to window and ensure tracker is enabled. Click on stabilize motion. You'll be given a track point and you need to select a region where you want to follow the motion. So in my case, I want to follow the eye, and then click on play so that it can analyze going forward. Once it's done analyzing, you can scroll through to see if your track point was actually accurate. If it was, just click on apply and hit OK, and now it will set some keyframes on your clip. If I scroll through, you can see the image gets the video gets distorted in some way, so just hit S and then you're going to scale into the video. We can also manually put him maybe somewhere in the middle, and then make sure you scroll through to ensure there is nowhere that you can see this small error. So I'll scale into the video a little bit more, probably 160, and he seems to be contained into the middle of the frame, which is what I wanted us to get. So I'll hit save and then I will close down, go back to Premiere. So playing this back in Premiere, yeah, it's a bit more different from the initial video. As you can see, disabling, re-enabling, it kind of follows the subject, which gives it a level of detail. And of course, this depends on the context of the video, not just anywhere. And those are some 5 essential effects that I wanted to share with you guys on this tutorial. Once again, make sure to check out my Danny James Drill Sapphire presets, and I'm sure they are worth the value. Start by checking out the demo version so that you can see if it's compatible with your PC or not, and then you can go ahead and try the full pack. My name is Danny James. See you guys in the next tutorial. Peace.